Here on the couch, Literature Week is almost over, and I thought the best way to end off was talking about an underrated book. And my choice is Inheritance. Okay, so a lot of you might have heard about Eragon. It was a book written by this teenager, and it got a lot of press during the time of its release. And a lot of people liked this book, including me. I thought it was a fun time, I just kind of shut off my brain and just enjoyed the ride. I mean, I realized it wasn't going to ever be as good as like Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings or Star Wars, and pretty much just ripped off those books, but I thought it was just pretty much innocent fun. I didn't think much about it, of course. But I was going through the bookstore, and I looked and saw the fourth book in the series had been released. And I was like, well, I might as well read it since I read the other three. I had kind of just forgotten about it at this point. And I sat down, and I read it, and I was surprised to find that it was incredible. It was like reading a classic piece of literature. I'm honestly putting it at that level. And, I mean, it wasn't like the greatest book ever written or anything. I'm not going to go that far, but it is surprising how good it was. So, the problem here that I have right now is that I can't actually say what it's about because I don't want to spoil anything. But let me just say what I really love about this book is the ending and just how drawn out it is. And that sounds bad to say, but every note is so powerful and you never get bored of the fact that everything's over. And not only that, but some really hard decisions are made at the end and you just can't help but feel something for these characters. So, yeah, I was really surprised when I finished this book. I was like, this is actually kind of better than Game of Thrones. I gotta be honest. I have to admit I'm not really the biggest fan of Game of Thrones, but I actually think it's better than that. It had so much more power to it. It was like, I think it was kind of like reading The Hunchback of Notre Dame or Les Miserables. It was that kind of writing style. It reminded me of Victor Hugo. And I think it's kind of cool in a way that a guy that really just came out of nowhere and probably isn't going to be considered one of the greatest writers ever. When the point when he was just at the very end there, he kind of just pushed through and created something great, He just had to really fight against all the criticism that he was receiving, and he made kind of a masterpiece, in my opinion. I don't know how he did it. I really like this book. So anyways, I would definitely suggest you check it out. It really is a very good book, and I am being very serious in everything I say here. It really was good. But anyways, it was good to just be able to talk about this underrated classic, basically. And just I hope I helped him out a little bit. I hear he's actually kind of a jerk in real life. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what people say. But even if that's the case, he still wrote a really good book. I have to say I like what he creates. I might not necessarily like him. But anyways, thank you all for joining me for Literature Week. I'll have a little sketch episode 2 at the end. But until then, remember, think big, think differently.